What up, family? It's the Bitesize Breakdown crew, and we are back with another episode of A Bigger Bite, where we dive deeper than our 100-word reviews you get online into your favorite, or maybe not so favorite, television shows, movies. And today we are talking about the seven years since we had Star Wars on screen. I think I not being the hugest resident Star Wars fan, I just watch all of it. I didn't really recognize. When people were saying that, I was like, damn, this is a long time. But we're here for not a Star Wars story, just Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. And as always, we have the founder of Bitesize Breakdown with us, one Mr. Nick Van Dinther. Nick, how you feeling today?
I'm doing well. I grew up a big Star Wars fan, so I've always had an attachment to this franchise. So I'll always take an opportunity to chat about it.
And recurring guest, fellow North Carolina Film Critic Association member, still recovering. If you saw the Mortal Kombat episode, so hopefully that goes away completely next time you see him. But he's on anyway. Harrison, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I had a close encounter with the Hutts. That's what that's about. But I made it out by the skin of my teeth. And here to talk Star Wars. I've been a fan since episode 1 and been on board ever since then. And then sequel trilogy, not really my thing. But I'm always excited to talk about Star Wars. I think it's good lore.
Yeah. And if it's on Bite Size and it's about Star Wars, well, we have Andres Ace Cabrera on here all the time, all day, every day. So we got him back. Ace, good to see you again, man. How you feeling?
Good, man. I'm excited to be on. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on again. And Star Wars, yeah, this is basically what I base my life around. So I'm in it.
All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off with you, Ace. How did you feel about the movie overall? Just your general thoughts coming in. And what did you get out of it after you left the theater?
Yeah, I got the opportunity to check it out. The first screening they had, which was really cool, the IMAX screening and Universal City Walk. So that was a cool opportunity. So I got to see it with like the first people getting to see it. Besides the premiere, I wasn't able to go to the premiere. Not cool enough to do that, but I thought it was okay. I definitely left a little more bummed out than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be slightly more exciting, a little bit more. At least something special that I can latch onto. So I thought for the most part, it was a fun ride, but it definitely left a lot to be desired for me.
Yeah, that's funny because for me, I was the opposite. Like I was going in worried. Like I like all of Mando. I like Mando, all of the seasons. It was cool, but I could clearly see like, man, the returns aren't coming back each season. So I was going in like, all right, let's not let this be just a cash grab, unnecessary. And I walked out of the theater like that was a dope ass action film. From the very first scene for me, while I was watching that first scene, and then they did the wonder of Mando just tearing a hole through everybody. I was like, okay, if you keep doing this, I'm gonna be enjoying myself. And they kept doing it. There's like it's straight up to me, it's a straight up action movie. Just like I walked out like this is like Jumanji. Give me an adventure, solo adventure, action, characters I like. I enjoyed it. So I ended up leaving the theater understanding like this is an okay film, but like I actually thought it was very exciting. I got more out of it than I expected. And maybe my expectations, even though I try not to let that like give me judgment on movies before or what it is. I heard people love it. I heard people hate it. And I got out like, yo, that was dope to me. I enjoyed myself in a lot of the pitfalls I was hoping it would escape. It escaped a good amount of them, not all of them, but for me, a good amount of them. Nick, how about you, man?
I'm much more down on this movie than I was hoping I would be. I haven't been shy about the fact that I think a lot of people were kind of predicting that on the high end, this would be a good Mando episode. And to me, tonally at least, it's a bad Clone Wars episode. It's just like a filler kind of, it doesn't have that cool Western vibe that Mandalorian had. It has more of the kind of, when Clone Wars, the animated series, leaned too much into the kind of cartoony stuff and got away from that, it felt a lot more like that. It was a little goofy at times. It's definitely the most child-focused Star Wars film I've ever seen. And I I didn't finish this thinking anything differently than how I went in terms of characters and story development, and I think that's a big black eye on the film.
Harrison.
I thought it was a very fine movie. I didn't have high expectations, and there were times I was sitting there, I'm like, man, this looks great. There's some good action. Other times I'm like, I'm getting kind of bored here. Like, if there's on, I wish it was on Disney Plus so I could pause it. But like I said, it's very fine. It's not bad. It's not excellent. It's just a very fine movie. Definitely aimed a lot more towards kids, and you can, for me at least, it definitely feels like we shrunk a season into a movie, which I think in terms of they need cash and it didn't cost that much to do. That's a smart idea. I just wish there was more lore. It's just him going on a couple missions. Like, I think like with the first 2 seasons of the Mandalorian lore is pretty cool. Like, Star Wars for me, it was always about like Jedi and the Jedi lore, and that's cool. Once it started going into that Mandalorian lore, I was like, this is actually also interesting. So the fact that it's just, I know it's the Mandalorian and Grogu, but it's just him and Grogu. It should have been him and other Mandalorians and going deeper into that lore.
Do y'all think it would have been better as a television, as a season, than it is as a movie? I know if it started and ended this season where the movie started and ended, I'd much rather it be a movie. Because I don't want to spend 8 to 9 hours or whatever with not going anywhere. I'm perfectly fine in a movie not going anywhere, not pushing it forward. That's a big complaint I've heard about this film, is that it doesn't really move any lore forward. And for me, it's not an episode. So like I'm okay going with what the movie gave me. And I'm like, you're giving me just a solo outing with them two. You're not giving me more. I do understand it would have been better with the, like, I haven't heard that, but it would have been better with more Mandalorian lore and getting a little deeper into that. But as soon as I recognized, like, yo, we're just having an adventure here, like, I was legit blown away by a lot of the action, and I took it as that.
I think, to answer your question, would it be better as a TV series? No, I think it would have been better as like what they just did with The Punisher, a one-off special that could be a bridge to another season of Mandalorian, or could just act on its own. I think it would be a lot better received if it was a Disney Plus special as well. So that's where I think it probably should have lived.
I think I agree. I think it would have been better if this were season 4 of The Mandalorian. I think people would have been excited to see it and would have thought, oh, this is way better than season 3. You got the Hutts, which they were in the Book of Boba Fett, Rada, who hasn't been seen since like the Clone Wars when he was like a baby. Like, there's lore there, but in terms of the movie and it's just him, I don't think the audience really cares that much. They feel like, you see this, you're like, well, I could have saw this on TV at home. And that's just kind of what it felt like. Even though it looked great, I think it would have worked better as a season 4. And they could have, like, if you're gonna do the Mandalorian movie, like Bo-Katan should be there, like a bunch of other Mandalorians. That's what, if you're gonna do the movie, that's what it should have been, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the expectations, I think, would have been set. Season 3 to me was a disappointment. So I think if this was a season 4, people would have been like, oh, that was cool. Like, we got to see Rada, we got to see action, the Hutts. I think people would have accepted it more as a TV show because they're used to that kind of quality. But seeing this kind of quality in a movie for me, and seeing, like you said, Amarú, the lack of like forward momentum, story, character. Is there character in this movie? Character growth? Not really. And not seeing that in a movie, to me, makes it not really that good of a movie, which is why, to me, it's a little more disappointing.
This is the thing. There was character development. However, this is not called Rada. It's not called Rada the movie.
Oh, Rada.
That's the only character.
We're pushing him forward. We're pushing his story forward. And I want to get into the Rada of it all because I don't give a shit about the voice. Like, I don't care that he's a young dude from Jersey. Like, I don't know what his voice sounded like before, and that's what it is. Like, I accepted it and I moved on. And that was the character development while I was watching that. I enjoyed it, that I was surprised in getting. Like, I didn't realize Like I wasn't expecting Rada to be the reason why I'm latching on to something, and that's the character and the development and the thing that we didn't have before. Every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, what happened to that little baby creature? As I'm listening, now I know. Now we have something forward, but that's a lot. That's one thing. A lot of people are like, why does he sound like a normal human being?
I think hearing the Hutts speak basic is a very interesting choice. When the twins did it, I enjoyed that a lot better because they're mainly speaking, was it Huttese or whatever? Then every now and then they'd say something English, and it felt powerful. It felt like they really wanted to let you understand what they meant when they said this, and they still have like that gravelly voice when it's like they really have to think about speaking in basic because they don't normally do that. Murata does it, he's just kind of like talking like a normal character. And at first, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I care for this, especially after hearing the twins. But then as the movie went on, I was just like, okay, it is what it is. This is what he does. I get it. He's like the Gen Z Hut, and he's different from his aunt and uncle. So, yeah, it was all right.
I kind of wish they affected the voice a little bit more. Harrison's right. Had the aunt and uncle not sounded exactly like Jabba, it maybe would have been easier to create that separation. But this species has a very clear, defined sound from everyone we've heard speak it, except for Rada. So I think if they maybe gave him a little bit more of that gravel, that kind of Jabba sound. Forgive me, I don't know what the species is called, the Hutt species. But yeah, I think he was so North American that I know they aren't going to do a subtitle heavy film, but I do feel like you could have maybe put some more reverb or something on his voice to give him a little bit more of that gravelly tone that we expect from the Hutts.
And mentioning subtitles, maybe if they weren't going to do subtitles, just have him speak in Huttese, and that's not like Chewbacca. Chewbacca doesn't speak English. He clearly understands it and knows it, but just have it that when the Mandalorian first met him, he spoke like Huttese to him. So just have the Mandalorian speak to him in English and have him understand. They didn't have to hire Jeremy Allen White. So,
which, by the way, I was looking for Jeremy Allen White for like a good 30 minutes after Rada appeared, and I was like, oh, that's him. I did not know that was Jeremy Allen White. Where did he? Okay, I guess I hear it now.
Yeah, I would have preferred Huttese too. I think it's a little disorienting and a little bit jarring to see Rada speak basic and have that kind of I don't know, just doing stuff that you don't expect a Hutt to do. Like I still imagine him driving the speeder. It took me out of the movie for like half a second when he's just like Fast and Furious driving that speeder. I'm like, what is happening? But I was cool with it. I do understand that he does have a little bit more character focus. I just feel like the character was still a little one note for me. Get out of the shadow of my dad. I'm not like my dad kind of attitude. And it was like, all right, I think I get it. And it didn't quite work as well with me.
Is that something, because we're in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, and we unless I don't know about it, because I don't watch much Star Wars outside of the movies. Is that something to explore? Is that something that maybe in another area, another movie, another series we want to see Rada, or is that something to just drop and let be? Yeah, am I missing something here? Because again, it's the character development that happened, so it's got to be setting up for something, or hopefully it'd be setting up for something for everybody looking for something to build upon. I
don't think it is, man, and I think that's the issue. I think they just wanted to have the Son of Jabba the Hutt, something cool like that, to have that kind of cartel gangster aspect to it. But I don't think there is. I don't think they're building towards anything or making any kind of statement, because I think at the end of the movie too, they make it a point that he doesn't want the throne, so he steps down. Yeah, I don't think so, man. Yeah.
And to me, And to me, that's the biggest flaw of this film, because what was told to me as a hot take after my screening, but when we're making these complaints that the story doesn't go anywhere, the characters don't go anywhere, I think in watching this film, you have a path for Rada, and you have character development, everything you could have done within this, and that's to kill the Mandalorian. And I know the idea is, whoa, big Disney franchise character, we're not going to kill him off. But if you think about where he fits in the franchise going forward, that you realistically may not see him again if it's not another Mandalorian series, unless he pops up in like Ahsoka or something. This would have been a great way to, I don't want to say pawn off Grogu, but give Grogu another person to latch onto. You could have gotten Rhoda. Pedro's going to get expensive if you want to keep using him anyways, and he's going to get more popular. So I think this was a really good place where you could have had that character development where Grogu can't save him. He dies. Not to get too spoilery. I know that we are spoiler heavy on this, but you could have had him not survive this film, and I think you get that character development you're looking for, and I think you have a defined path going forward for Grogu and Rada instead of kind of no man's land for everyone involved.
Nick, behind the scenes, everybody, Nick has been trying to kill off Din Djarin for like good 4 seasons now. Like he's been saying kill Mando for like the last 2-3 years. So it might be new for everybody, but I put a smile on my face every time you say it.
Because I like the character. I like the character a lot, but I think that as you watch these shows go on, he has served his purpose. And I think it's because of the merchandise and things like that that they're afraid to get rid of him. But I think he's done his job. And I think that as cute and as fun as Grogu is, it's like Baby Groot. Eventually we want to see him grow up and become something different. And I think to have him evolve and grow, especially in a film that is so much about fathers and sons, would be an ending to him and Mando, because we've kind of gotten the rug pulled out from us with that, oh, he might go, they might be separated moment a couple times for them now, and it becomes a little bit of the boy who cried wolf. And I don't know if they try and do something again to separate these two, whether it's killing off Mando or what. This was your moment to do it.
Harrison, you were gonna talk about Rada and stuff, yeah.
I think with Rada, even though I don't think I enjoyed like where his character ended up at the end of this movie, but I do think that does give them space to really do whatever that they want with the character. Like the sequel trilogy is decades in the future. I definitely can see him coming back as an older Hutt, and them, if people didn't like what they did in this movie, well, in those decades, this good stuff happened to him, and now this is a Hutt that you like better. He's like a better Jabba the Hutt or whatever. So I can see him potentially appearing in a future movie. But you're talking about killing Din Djarin. I agree with you. I think he has served his purpose. I don't necessarily want to see him die. I was happy. I think Grogu should have stayed with Luke. Like, can they see each other again? Yeah, there could have been like if this was a movie, if Grogu shows up and with like Luke showed up to help him, if he was in a situation in this movie and he just didn't have any help, and then Grogu, I guess, since he was in trouble, brought Luke saved him. They had like a small reunion, then he left with Luke again. That would have been great. But yeah, having them together, like we've seen it, we need him to do other things. And I've talked with some friends about this, I just feel like Din has kind of, ever since he lost the Darksaber, he's just kind of just going down in stock. Like I was loving it in the show when he was like leveling up each season. He got like that Beskar spear, and then he got the Darksaber, and then now he's just like, he's really been the same. And that they could have done a lot more with him this movie. And it could have been that, what if he had team, like said, Grogu, I can't keep you safe or whatever, something bad happened and Grogu almost died, I can't keep you safe, you should go back with Luke, I'm gonna be with Rada, we're gonna do our adventure. And then if they do bring back the Mandalorian, you just start up with a new Mandalorian. Bo-Katan's there, her whole crew, just pick a new Mandalorian. The show is not Din Djarin, the show is the Mandalorian. There's so many Mandalorians left they could do different adventures with. So
for sure. The one thing going into the movie that I was worried about was Grogu just being a character to sell toys. And I'd be honest, the best part of the movie for me is probably the spot that they focused on him with Stephen McKinley Henderson's character coming in and helping him there. And I actually really liked how they set up the beginning of the movie to feel like Din's movie with Grogu just there before giving Grogu something to do. So the fact that they actually made him, and then the stuff with him and I guess they're Anzellans, Babu freaking them was pretty fun. And a lot of people say they don't like the connection. That connection was there for me. It was, and it makes me want to see more. But what y'all are talking about is something that, like, help me out. Was this really just like dumping season 4 onto it, and maybe they'll move forward later? Because if that's it, then I am all in on, like, yo, now start giving me stuff with Bo-Katan. Now start separating the two of them a little bit more. I would like to see Grogu start to grow, even though they live for forever. So it's going to take a while. How did y'all feel like they handled at least the relationship between the two of them outside of, like, not in the adventure that they got?
I would say I think they handled them fine. Their relationship was good. Speaking of Grogu, I think he has grown as a character, just not in the ways people want. Namely, he walks now. He walks pretty well. His little shuffling feet as he moves across the screen. I enjoy that. And apparently that's a practical effect. Apparently they built a little robot Grogu that walks. So I thought that was well. He somehow learned how to force heal. I'm fine seeing it, but it's like, how did he learn how to do that at such a young age? And I don't necessarily, I think, yes, this is season 4. They cut a lot of stuff out and made it into a movie, but I do think they plan on doing a season 4. It'll just be a different story, because apparently I guess they're reworking a lot. This was all supposed to lead to like some big crossover Thrawn movie with Ahsoka and the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all those TV characters. But I guess they're changing that now. And I'm not sure why. So the 4th season of The Mandalorian is going to be something, or the new 4th season is going to be something totally different. And I don't know what that is yet. I don't know what it could be. Hopefully there's more than just him going on an adventure every week. But back to the relationship. I think their relationship is fine. I still like it. They are cute together. I do think it's time for them to be separated permanently. But yeah, they're fun.
Ace?
Yeah, I honestly, man, the more I think about it, this is all I've been doing all weekend is just thinking about this damn movie. I don't think they know what they want to do, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't think they know what's going to happen in season 4. I don't think they know anything as far as what they're planning with the Ahsoka stuff. Because to me, if they did know, there would have been at least, even if it was like, I'm not talking a cameo, I'm talking just say the name Thrawn in this movie. At least that would have been like, at least we're confident in Ahsoka season 2 and what we can do with that. And now there's rumors that the Filoni movie, the crossover movie that you just mentioned, might not even happen. So it feels a little weird right now. It feels like they're not sure what they want to do. They just want to make at least some money. And they were like, this movie can make money, whether that's merchandising or ticket sales. We can do both. So why not just put out this movie, adventure of the week style? Nothing really happens, but at least we're going to make some bank, which I think they will. Like I said, whether it is ticket sales and merchandising, I think they'll make some money. But when it comes to the future, whether it's season 4, whether it's what happens to Bo-Katan, what happens to these characters that we know from the TV show, I don't know. Because I would have told you a couple weeks ago before I saw this movie that I think they could have put a lot more eggs in the basket of Ahsoka, because I think they're going to be confident with that. And then in Ezra and Sabine, and maybe make that the future of Star Wars movies. Make it like an Ezra, like he's the new Jedi, he's the new Luke kind of guy. And I think that would have been kind of cool. But now I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think they know what they want to do with Mando and Grogu right now, or the TV shows and movies.
The TV shows do kind of remind me of the complaint that everyone used to have with Kathleen Kennedy when it came to the movies and everything that happened with JJ going to Ryan, going back to JJ. And it does just feel like kind of directionless. And that's another reason, like Ace just said, like, I think in the TV world, what you have built up with Ahsoka and Thrawn and Ezra and Bo-Katan is far more interesting than what you have left of Din. And that's why I think you're not going to give up on Grogu. We know that's not going to happen. So the idea that you do something to push him forward and separate those two, and that's the reason that I brought up the idea of Din passing away. I mean, I think the idea that like Grogu has the Force heal and he doesn't know that he's been poisoned, and just sealing a cut doesn't heal poison, and then he just passes away. He doesn't make it, and Grogu is left on his own, and Rada takes him in. And then you have a reason for introducing this Rada character. And you can do something with the one character you developed, and that makes sense as to why that whole movie was focused on his development, where everything else was just, it felt like things we'd seen before. I'm not saying Din has to die. I'm just saying the film made a lot of sense the way it was set up, that it was going that way. And I think that when we look at the future, Din doesn't seem a big part of it. Like you said, Harrison, it can be a Mandalorian, but it doesn't have to be him as a Mandalorian. I think you've explored Mandalore enough. You've introduced Bo-Katan. You've got all the Ahsoka stuff. Even if you don't get this team-up movie, you have two threads that are quite interesting now. And I think that's where you go going forward. And it's just a matter of getting Grogu into one of those two sides.
And that's what I want to finish this off at. Where, aside from Din dying, if we have Din, if we have Grogu, and y'all talk about separating, where specifically should they go? Because there's only so many movies that you can sit down, or so many seasons where you can sit down and have an adventure of the week and enjoy it. I enjoyed this one still, y'all. Not so much, but thought it was okay. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people hated it. But it is Star Wars. It is a franchise. You got to do something with these characters if you're going to keep them around. And yes, Pedro is expensive. But again, you can keep the helmet on. They dealt with the fact that the Hutts saw his face, and I thought it was pretty cool how they got rid of them. I will say, like, the hand-to-hand combat between him and the bounty hunter, while there's a sumo wrestling fight at the same time happening between Rada and the Aunt and Uncles, was pretty cool to me. But where do you go with these two if they stick around? Like, specifically, does it go to Luke? Do we do that with Rada? Do we have some kind of thing between Din and Bo-Katan? Where do they go?
I can tell you where I thought they were going. It looked like they were setting up a show. Like, I really thought Grogu was going with Luke. That made the most sense. He's a Jedi. He's going to help him, train him, get stronger. I thought Din, when he gave the Darksaber to Bo, because technically everybody saw the episode, like, well, technically she should have it. He gave it to her. I was like, oh, that's smart. She has it. But the show is centered around him. When he purified himself, like the waters, the Mythosaur was there. The Mythosaur noticed him. So I thought, and apparently to be king of Mandalore, or the ruler of Mandalore, you have to wield the Darksaber, or historically ride the Mythosaur. So I thought it was going to be that she has the Darksaber, he's going to ride the Mythosaur, and they're going to like rule together, and that's where they're going to go off to. Ahsoka's doing her thing, and I don't know if any of you saw Skeleton Crew. Like,
Yeah, I did.
That was a fun story, and Jude Law's character was great in that, because you had the idea of he had just become a Padawan when his master got killed in Order 66. So he barely got any training. All he knows how to do is kind of use a lightsaber and use the Force. And he was, apparently, him and the kids were supposed to appear in this crossover movie as well. And I really enjoyed that show. I was hoping he'd come back. Like, they could have, like you said, Easter eggs. They could have put any hints to any of that in this movie. He could have ran into any of them on his missions. Hey, so and so, you're a Jedi. Oh, but so where should they go? I think they should go back to the crossover movie. I think is a great idea. You should go back to that. Start setting that up. Do some kind of Heir to the Empire. You pay Harrison Ford to find a lookalike. Same with what's Leia's real name? She passed away.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, you have to find a lookalike for her, a younger lookalike, and either hire the Winter Soldier to play young Luke, or just keep de-aging him, and you have this big crossover movie with the younger versions of characters you love and all these new characters, and that's gonna make money. It is uniting both worlds. I think that's what they should do. And Starfighter, that's in the future, so they can worry about stuff in the future, worry about stuff in the past, but for this close to the original trilogy timeline, they should be working on combining those worlds.
I do want to see.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I do want to see Sebastian Stan come in as Luke, because I think you've set it up that you kind of need to revisit Luke, and I definitely don't want to see a large focus character be de-aged or CGI, knowing what Mark Hamill's limitations are at this age. I think just start with a clean slate, and unlike Alden Ehrenreich when he played younger Han Solo, I think you can do Sebastian Stan as Luke, and it feels like the same, if that makes sense.
If I can chime in on that, the reason, and I think one, Sebastian Stan, he looks like Mark Hamill.
He does.
And two, he's middle-aged, technically. And we've seen old Luke and we've seen young Luke. We haven't seen middle-aged Luke. That's a clean through line right there. He can look a little different when he's middle-aged and when he's young and old, but still similar enough.
That's the thing. I think it would be believable. And it's an actor that Disney has a long history with. Whether or not we think he's going to be part of the MCU for much longer with everything that's going to happen, I think a spot could be opening up, and I think he's the interesting person. And if you're gonna do something with Din, I think you kind of nailed it at the beginning of this movie. Like, I want to see him go back to being kind of a gun for hire instead of this surrogate father figure. I think he's really cool when he gets to do bounty hunter stuff. And that's where I would want to see him go. If you find kind of going back into that Western side of things, I think that's where the character thrived the most.
Sebastian Stan taking over not only Marvel and DC, but Star Wars. He'll catch up to Zoe Saldana as the most beloved and highest grossing working actor today. Ace, what about you, man?
Yeah, didn't he just win like a Palme d'Or too in Cannes? Am I
either I don't know if he won it, but I know the movie he was in won the top.
Yeah, he's winning, bro. That's what he does. Yeah, to me, I still think I agree. I like the concept. I still think the concept of, obviously Luke is great, and I would want to see Luke back again as well. But even if it was Ezra and Sabine, I still think if you want to make them and make Ezra like the Luke style kind of character, he's a super powerful Jedi, and make it more Jedi kind of stuff. And if they want to go back to, I mean, that's kind of what they were leading with Ahsoka, make the Night Sisters the rivals to try to keep up with the Force. It could be interesting. And I think I like both, to be honest. I like both. If I was in a room, I'd be like, I'm cool with Din being, like you said, Harrison, the king of Mandalore, riding the mythosaur. Like, that to me is epic. And that would be kind of cool. It would also show like a different side of Din too, because he's able to build community and not just take down bad guys. And what does that look like to rebuild Mandalore? I think that'd be interesting, obviously with Bo-Katan as well, because she has to be there. But reintroducing Luke, getting an actor, if they can't get Sebastian Stan, that'd be perfect, but just an actor would be better than what they did in the show. Just the de-aging just didn't work for me. And then Leia needs to be there too. I agree. I think Leia would be awesome. Get an actress to play young Leia. I think that could work as well, and build back up to that. But again, that's what I thought they were doing, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's where they're still going when it comes to that big Thrawn movie being something epic.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I came here looking to like fight Nick a lot and defend this movie, but because I don't know the lore, just listening to y'all talk about it and learn, I feel like a Padawan right now, and I'm enjoying it. But as of this movie, I still went in and enjoyed it. Like I said, I loved seeing a dope-ass action film. I thought the action, just one scene after another, between the sword fights, the spaceship, the different hand-to-hand combat, the gun battles. I enjoyed all of that, sitting down and watching that and a solo adventure. It was enough for me. But definitely hearing y'all talk about it, definitely need more from characters I do really, really enjoy. Nick, any final thoughts to wrap this up about this movie, about the future, anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Just about the future of Star Wars. I said this when we got out of our screening, and I know that they want to try and fill in these gaps in the story. They did it with the Obi-Wan series, which I actually quite enjoyed, and looking at these different time periods. To me, the only way to make Star Wars continue is to either go way forward or to go way back. You go to a time before the Skywalkers, you go to like the Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing. I think that there's a lot of story you can tell there, and they've shown that with the sequel trilogy, they're actually quite good at introducing new characters and making them instantly hit. And then I think that the other thing you can do is go back to what the future is of Rey, because I think that's a character that didn't quite get her flowers in the way that she could have with Rise of Skywalker. and I don't need to worry about filling in these like midpoints. And even if that's where Grogu shows up in the Daisy Ridley films deep in the future, because we know Yoda lived like 800 plus years. So you can do that, and he could still potentially be a baby depending on how that aging process goes. Like, you don't have to make him teenage Grogu. There are ways you can put him anywhere in the timeline going forward. So I think that's probably what you do. And then, like Ace said, Ezra, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Sabine, that feels like where the streaming series world is going to take place. And you can include the Skeleton Crew group there as well. And I think you separate those two, because to me, this didn't quite work as a theatrical film. And also, it really pissed me off that they didn't call this a Star Wars story, that this is part of Star Wars.
I was gonna say, I'm like, if you set that up, like the spinoffs are something, a Star Wars story, I'm like, just call this the Mandalorian, a Star Wars story. Just because Solo didn't hit doesn't mean you have to change the subtitles. Like, if it's not a mainline movie, make it something, a Star Wars story. And that does bug me. Like, I don't care for the title really, but
finish off with your final thoughts, man. Yeah.
One thing, I love Ludwig Göransson. I don't know if he was right for this score. There are times where I'm like, this hits. Other times I'm like, yeah, this isn't Star Wars music. So I wasn't really the fan of that. The opening, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong. Have they ever had like actors' names appear like it's a regular movie in Star Wars? Like, normally all the actors stuff just appear at the end in the credits. Yeah, like when he was flying back to the base, I'm like, Pedro Pascal, I'm like, this isn't normal. This isn't a normal movie. You don't do, Jon Favreau should know better. And yeah, I do think these characters can be moved to the big screen, but I do think, I mean, it's Star Wars. It centers around, for the most part, the Skywalkers and people related to them. There should have, like, this movie, of the spinoff so far, Rogue One is my favorite, and I mostly didn't care for that movie until Darth Vader showed us in and started just murdering people. And I was like, oh, wow, this is an amazing scene. It pretty much saved this movie for me. So again, like, if Din was trapped and almost dying and Luke showed up and just started murdering Hutts and all this and saved his life and then went back off to go train his nephew or whatever, I'll probably come out there to like, you know what? That Mandalorian and Grogu movie was pretty good. It sometimes it only takes a scene, and it only takes character. And even if they did the de-aging on Mark Hamill, that technology has gotten a lot better. It'd be like a small scene. It wouldn't have been that bad. It's not like it's gonna sit on his face the whole time. They could have, especially like how they had him hooded when he first did it the last time. So yeah, I think, again, they can work on the big screen as long as you bring in some of the normal big screen characters alongside them. Like, somebody did an AI version of middle-aged Han Solo showing up in The Mandalorian. Like, I guess when he's about to take a mission, like Han is also there about to fly off, but they just gave him a beer, and I was like, it doesn't look half bad. It was like a 10-minute, not 10-minute, like a 15-second scene. I'm like, yeah, why didn't you just throw that in there? Han's there, Han leaves. People will be talking about it more. So overall,
I will say before you jump into Ace, one thing we didn't mention at all is I do hope we get more of Sigourney Weaver in this world. They didn't give her much to do in this film, but she just felt really friggin' right in this universe, and I want to see her continue, like what they've done with Paul Seung-Lee. I want to see her continue as part of this New Republic going forward.
It's Sigourney. She kind of hits anytime you put her in here. Ace, any final thoughts, man? Or your thoughts on Sigourney, the movie, Star Wars in general?
Yeah, there's so much to get to, but for me, I think the biggest issue I have is the larger implications of a movie like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be this movie, but the idea of everything that we've been hearing, even if it is positive, fun, no stakes, no character, no forward momentum, that's a little disappointing for me, and I really hope that doesn't become a trend. I don't think it will, but it did feel a little bit more like they could have given us something that wasn't so one note. And to me, that's my biggest complaint, is like, I really hope Disney doesn't feel like, oh, we can just keep pumping these out and those are our new Star Wars movies, because that would be kind of disappointing for me, because I need to have stakes and character and forward momentum for me. So
yeah. All right. Well, Ace, let everybody know where they can find you, man. Thank you for jumping on. I can't wait to talk to you again. Let us know where they can find you.
yeah, you can find me everywhere at Squad Leader Ace. You could also follow my YouTube channel at First Cut. And then I built a brand new Star Wars YouTube channel, basically just putting all my other videos on that one. It's called Sabak the Block. So if you want to check out Sabak the Block, that's where I put all my Star Wars stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Harrison, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me most obviously on Tatooine, just hanging out online everywhere except for TikTok at FlixFrog, personally at Movie Guru 23, movie reviews, TV reviews. I love Star Wars, even though I don't love it a lot right now, but I'm always excited to talk about it.
All right. So for Nick, for Ace, for Harrison, go check us out on BitesizeBreakdown.com. Check out all our other Bite Size Bigger Bite episodes on the YouTube channel, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.